It's Tuesday. Let's talk a little bit today about establishing the right group culture. In sports, some teams have a culture of winning, like the New England Patriots. Even though I'm a Bears fan, the New England Patriots have a culture of winning in their organization. It contrasts that with the Chicago Cubs in baseball. They have a culture of losing. They haven't won the World Series in something like 100 years, and they're okay with it. There's a culture of losing in that organization, and that's not good. And in business, some companies have a culture of earning. They just know how to make money, and it's expected that they're going to make money in their business, and they've established that culture. And other businesses haven't established that culture, and many other businesses fail because they don't have the right group culture. There's not an expectation that they're going to earn and succeed. And in our homes, we need to establish a culture of wisdom. We have to learn to go to God's word, and in our homes and in our churches, we have to establish wisdom and expect that we're going to be wise, and expect that our kids are going to learn to be wise, and that our grandkids are going to learn to be wise. And that's establishing the right group culture in our homes and in our churches. And my dad did a great job, my parents, of establishing this in our home when I was a young person. In the mornings, we'd get up and we'd do devotionals just like you're doing right now. And we would go through the book of Proverbs. And I want to bring you there right now, Proverbs chapter 1. This is great because it's talking about establishing this culture of wisdom. It says the Proverbs of Solomon, son of David, king of Israel. And notice it's the son of David, and we see this wisdom trying to be passed along to children. It says these proverbs are for gaining wisdom and instruction, for understanding words of insight, for receiving instruction in prudent behavior, doing what is right and just and fair, for giving prudence to those who are simple, and knowledge and discretion to the young. I love this. You see how he's writing this down because he wants to pass along wisdom. He says in verse 5, let the wise listen and add to their learning, and let the discerning get guidance. He says, for understanding proverbs and parables, the sayings and riddles of the wise. And then he says this in verse 7, this is something worth memorizing and meditating on this morning. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge, but fools despise wisdom and instruction. So he's saying this, if you want to be wise, start here. Fear God. One of the ways you fear God is by sitting at his feet and learning from him and saying, God, I want you to speak to me and I want to learn from you today. He says in verse 8, listen, my son, to your father's instructions, and don't forsake your mother's teaching. Don't be foolish. These are a garland to grace your head and a chain to adorn your neck. And so I want to encourage you this morning, even as you're finishing up, to discuss, if you're doing this as a family or as a couple, to discuss and make a commitment to daily time in God's word. And then spend some time in prayer this morning and pray for discipline and for a steady increase of wisdom for living in your lives.